We will move on into the 1960s and the modern feminist movement. You will see that as women are told their only real choice in the 1950s is to be a housewife, some were content, but many were not content with that, as that was being their only choice. And you will see many things, as you know from the 1960s, kind of come undone. You've got various movements. You've got the Pink Panther movement. You've got the Civil Rights movement going on. You will also have the Women's Rights movement. And you're going to see this is commonly called the feminist movement. Did it go too far or not far enough in helping women achieve equality? That's going to be a focus for this weekend and next week. Has the promise of equality been met for women? Just some notable things that have happened. You see that Kennedy establishes the Commission on the Status of Women, and they do this investigation. They find out that women are discriminated just like a separate class. There is many types of discrimination going on as far as workplace, the pay is unequal and much lower, and that women have a slim chance of career advancement. You will see a very famous book called The Feminine Mystique. I actually have it on my desk here. It becomes a bestseller, and it was written by Betty Friedan, and she talks about the problem that has no name. And she will look at different advertisements, propaganda, magazines in the 1950s, and she'll talk to many women, and she'll realize that women are talking about this problem that has no name, and that problem really is that women feel empty. They feel like they need to amount to more than just housekeeping or domesticity, and you will see women will unite in the 1960s and want other opportunities for themselves. Here's a picture of Betty Friedan. Other notable laws that were passed: the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You will see sex was added to race, creed, color, and natural origin. This was mentioned briefly in the movie Selma. There's a new organization that is demanding change. It's called NOW, the National Organization for Women. It was founded in 1966. Their main goal is for full equality for all women. Their particular goal was also the passage of the Equal Rights Amendment, which we'll talk about in just a minute. If this organization is still around today, if you look at their website, which I did, they have workplace, they're focusing on workplace discrimination, abortion rights, they want to end violence against women, and sexism. Many women participated in women's liberation groups. These are really small discussion groups that sprang up really all over the country. Women are going to share a sense of sisterhood as they talk and try to understand their personal problems, and they'll realize that many women have this similar problems, a problem that has no name. And in fact, many of these women are going to burn bras. They're going to protest against beauty pageants. Specifically, in 1968, there was a protest outside the Miss America contest, and they actually instead crowned a live sheep Miss America. You will see in August 1970 in New York City, there's a huge women's liberation parade or protest going on. You see these really spring up across the country, as the women's movement is just one of many movements during this time period. On March 22nd, 1972, Congress approved the Equal Rights Amendment. Let's find out exactly what that is. It says men and women shall have equal rights throughout the United States in every place subject to its jurisdiction. This is first introduced by our friend Alice Paul in 1923. Well, it finally passes Congress in 1972. Most of you would remember from government it needs 38 states to pass this for it to officially be ratified. And it's going to make all forms of discrimination illegal. Will this pass? What do you think? I'm going with a big no here. Phyllis Schlafly, she's actually from St. Louis area. She's going to lead the counterattack against the Equal Rights Amendment. She's going to say things and claim that if this passes, women will lose custody of their children, women will have to serve in war, there will be, marriage will not exist between a man and a woman. She's going to support what's called the Eagle Forum, which is a traditional biblical view of a woman's role in society. She's supported by the conservative movement, and the Equal Rights Amendment did not gain the 38 needed states. The Equal Rights Amendment is going to be the focus of your DBQ, so you're going to go into much more detail about this amendment, why it didn't pass, and then really come to the conclusion, should the Equal Rights Amendment be passed today? You can see the states that did not ratify the amendment, Missouri being one of them. I want to tell you this story about a Catherine Switzer, S-W-I-T-Z-E-R. This happened in 1967. What Catherine did is she basically was an amazing runner, and she got hooked up really with a coach who was coaching a men's cross-country team in Syracuse, New York. She's going to train under him, and he basically tells her, you are a woman, you are frail, you are fragile, there is no way you can run 26.1 miles. And he said, if you do, I will support you and we'll run this Boston Marathon. Understand, this is not a race that's really open to women. According to the rules, though, it doesn't specifically bar a woman from doing it, but if she would have written her name on the registration form, her full name, they wouldn't have accepted her entry. Well, she trains hard, and her coach, Arnie, and you can see him in the back here, he's going to practice run with her about 2 weeks before the race, and she wants to really prove to him that she knows how to run. So instead of running 26.1 miles, she runs 31 miles. She has her boyfriend here that's supporting her as race officials try to push her out. Now, the way that she entered the race is it was just a mail-in entry. It was $3, and she signed her name just with the initial K and then Switzer. And she was able to get a number and run the race. But you see the photography truck, and many race officials said, you don't belong here, you're a woman, you cannot run, and they physically tried to push her out of the race. You will see that she does finish the race, and she's considered disqualified, and in fact some of the people with her are going to be kicked out of the race too and disqualified because they're pushing a race official. But she had men, run past her. Hey, can you get my wife to run? Hey, can I take my picture with you? Why are you wearing lipstick? And you can read about her story if you wanted to Google her and look her up. But she's going to be one of the first women to actually run the Boston Marathon. And it was, again, close to women. And there is this idea, you can argue that it's around today, that women cannot compete on a competitive athletic level. In 1972, Congress is going to pass what's called Title IX. And again, no person in the United States shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation in or be denied the benefits of or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal assistance. Well, basically any public school or university is going to receive some form of federal assistance. This is going to include things like no sexual harassment, equal opportunity in athletics, and no discrimination based on pregnancy. This law will set up an Office of Civil Rights in D.C., and they'll have 12 offices around the United States. This is going to have a great impact on women in education, women in sports, so you're going to have an equal opportunities for women to play athletics and to participate really in any type of education program that she wants. As you were told in the 1950s, in many cases women were still counseled and guided into home economics, and math and science were exclusively for male students. That's not going to be the case. You can't do that anymore because of Title IX. Just to kind of show you some statistics on this, 1994 women received 38% of medical degrees compared to 9% in 1972. So the number of law degrees are also increasing. This is a real alarming fact, and we hope the boys will step up. But according to the 2010 census, 58% of all advanced degrees are held by women between the ages of 25 and 29. You will see that tends to hold true. Even, for example, at Lindbergh, you see more female students pushing themselves and taking advanced courses like IB and AP. All right, we are finished with this. You will now go to, and it's only obviously during your class period, you will go ahead and use your notes and go to the quiz and take this quiz on the modern woman. When you are finished, you will continue to work in your packet, beginning on pages 22 and moving all the way through page 30 in your packet.